What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about 4 realistic games that I think could be shown off at the Game Awards. And I wanted to go realistic. You can go crazy, and maybe 1 or 2 of these might be crazy, depending on who you are. I'm trying to base this off of, at least right now, round 1 of Jeff Keighley's Partners graphic, right? He revealed all these publishers that are going, and again, you can go crazy, and you can, think that it's one thing versus another. Capcom being a good example. You could go for RE9, or you could go for like the other 5 Capcom games that it might realistically be. Okay, I'm not here to stop you. You get excited as much as you want to, but let's just go through the list and let's see, what you guys think of my list. So, firstly, I'm going to start with Little Nightmares 3, and a couple of reasons. Number 1, the game comes out this year. Number 2, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this year, so you have to show it eventually, right? You probably have to show it this summer, okay? And, whether it's now, whether it's Gamescom, whether it's at an Xbox event, whatever it might be. But you got to show it, I would say, within the next 2-3 months, okay? So why I would consider it realistic, this is not the biggest game of all time. Little Nightmares is definitely a big franchise, but you're not talking about like Resident Evil or Gears of War or something, I would say, to that magnitude. I do think it's a pretty big game, just not, to the levels of some other ones. But the most realistic, though, is because Supermassive Games is going. Now, you have to remember, obviously, right, that there was that developer switch, and Supermassive is the developer of Little Nightmares 3. Now, when I first made the video where I looked at, like, the entire board, I originally said Directive 80-20, and that's the thing. This is not a slam dunk. I think Directive 80-20 might make more sense. Now, historically, Supermassive normally shows up around Gamescom, around August, and they normally show gameplay for whatever the Dark Pictures game is that they're releasing that year. They did it with House of Ashes and a couple other times as well. So, and I think even maybe The Devil in Me, the last one that they did. So I would not be shocked if maybe my initial, theory was a little off, and maybe they're here to do Little Nightmares, and then they also appear at Gamescom to do Directive 80-20. 80-20's got a release date. Now, we need to see more of it, but you have a couple more months to do it. Little Nightmares 3, does that come out before or after Directive 80-20, right? So just, kind of putting those two things in perspective, I feel like this is realistic. You literally have a 50-50 shot, I think, to either get this or Directive 80-20, because otherwise, Supermassive is going to announce another brand new game, and that's cool, and I mean, that could be exciting, but I mean, you got 2 games that are coming out this year that you also need to talk about, so I feel like those are the more likely ones. All right, let's balance it with a little bit more crazy one, but one that I still do think kind of lines up. So I'm going to say Final Fantasy VII Part 3 teaser for Square Enix. Now, this one is definitely less of a percentage. This is not 50-50, right? Because you have Square Enix going. They could be going for Dragon Quest, which releases later this year. They could be showing Kingdom Hearts 4, which would make me actually more excited than Final Fantasy VII. But, I feel like Final Fantasy could be a theme, right? Because another thing you have to think about is the Switch 2. And we know, at least Part 1, right, remake, is coming out. And they say in that video, right, Hamaguchi talks about the whole series. So I would not be shocked if maybe Square and Nintendo are kind of on the same page where it's like, well, we're going to announce, say, Rebirth coming to this. And so it might not be Part 3. It might just be Final Fantasy VII in general. Could be Rebirth coming to the Switch. But you know what? As people have pointed out, like in terms of timelines and the distance between the first teaser and when the game comes out, if the game comes out in 2027, announcing it right now, showing a trailer at Game Fest, would be the exact same thing they just did for Rebirth 2 years before. So that is not all that crazy. Like, it feels maybe a little odd. It's only been a year and 3-4 months since Rebirth came out. But I mean, literally that. Like, if this game really is coming out 2 years from now, this is their history. They do the teaser 2 years before, and they even did Rebirth, I believe, at Summer Game Fest. So it's not impossible, and it's actually maybe even been done before. All right, so this is probably the most crazy one I have on my list, but I don't think it's that insane. Number 3, we'll say 007. Now, really, what I think we can do in terms of the percentage is, again, give it a 50-50 shot, because I'm really going to trust Nate the Hate, who we've talked so much about, right? 007, Tomb Raider, Wolf Among Us 2. One of those 3 games is going to be at Summer Game Fest. Telltale is not on the list, and I wouldn't have expected it anyway. It was probably the least likely, of the three, although maybe the one I wanted the most, to be honest with you. But Telltale is not on round one. Now, maybe Telltale is there. Maybe it's a surprise, and I will lose my mind. But as of now, again, let's be realistic. We have round one, and we have Amazon, and we have IO Interactive. Tomb Raider, 007. You have both. Like, you have the potential, not like a guarantee. You have the potential that either or are going to be there. Now, the reason I would lean 007, at least for like the purposes of this video, is like IO Interactive is now confirmed to be there, right? So before, it's like, okay, well, if you're not confirmed to be there, then, the shot becomes less and less. The only other thing it could be is Mind's Eye. Now, Mind's Eye releases 4 days after Summer Game Fest, and IO Partners is the publisher. So it is possible. In fact, it's probably more likely, to be honest, that it's Mind's Eye, that they're going to do one final thing, and I will not be happy with that, but that very likely could be why IO is there, okay? Now, I'd like to believe that they're there to show, 007 and not to show off Mind's Eye. So that's my own biasness, seeping in, but I guess that's what the entire video is. And the fourth and final one, again, maybe a stretch, but just a little bit of a stretch, Wolverine from PlayStation. So PlayStation is right there. And see, the reason I wanted to do this for PlayStation and Wolverine and not Xbox, it's tough. Xbox is very difficult because the Xbox show is 2 days later. So, I mean, like, if I pick a game, the odds of it being at the Xbox show, I think, are infinitely higher than Summer Game Fest. You might have one or two that appear at Summer Game Fest, and the rest would appear at the Xbox show, right? PlayStation's more interesting. At least at the time I'm recording this, they have not announced anything. Okay, that's right now. Maybe that's changed since the video has gone up. But, right now, you have Summer Game Fest, and then you hope that they're doing a State of Play or showcase. So I'm going to kind of lean into it and say, all right, well, you better come with more than just Death Stranding 2. Now, look, I'm more excited for Death Stranding 2 than I've ever been in my life. I genuinely mean that. So I will take it. We know Hideo Kojima's going to go. We know Death Stranding's going to be shown. Okay, let's just be real about it. That could easily be the one and only thing PlayStation is there for, is Death Stranding. And maybe that's it. And I won't be crushed just kind of because PlayStation has always kind of been bad with these State of Play showcases. So I'm not going to lose my mind, but I would like to believe they're there to do Death Stranding, and then let's do a +1, right? They've given Jeff stuff before. He's done Horizon stuff. He's done Spider-Man stuff. They let him do big games. A big game is not out of reach because it's big, okay? That's not really how it works anymore. The Last of Us back in the day, Last of Us Factions, I think, was the only time we saw it was through Jeff Keighley, and I think that was Summer Game Fest as well. So, we've gone down this road before. So what if they do 2 games? Let's say they do 2 games. What's the second game? Death Stranding's 1. Second game, Wolverine, Marathon, Ghost of Yotei. See, Ghost and Marathon are kind of safe answers, right? And then, this one's a little bit of a reach, but still realistic enough because it's a big game. It's a game that would get eyes on the show. It would be a big deal. And it might hopefully not come out too much later than Ghost and Marathon, right? So look, do I think we're going to get all 4 of these? Heck no. I think maybe if I can walk away with 2 out of these 4, I'll be pretty darn happy. If I can even get 1 out of these 4, I'll be pretty happy. These were just some of the ones that kind of came to mind, and these are only based off round 1. I mean, if he announces round 2 and Telltale is on the list, then Wolf Among Us, right? So there's potential for more, but we only have this at least at the time I'm recording this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.